All right. So what I wanted to do today was this is one of my favorite SCPs,
Oh
and
shit.
the way that it works, it doesn't sound very threatening, but I think if it broke containment, it would cause an XK class end of the world scenario.
Okay, I'm bringing out my notepad.
So SCP-009, also known as red water, is water. It's literally just water. The only difference
Just water.
is that it freezes at boiling point and boils at freezing point.
Oh shit. Okay.
That is its
That's weird.
only thing. And, well, it has one other thing. And if it touches more water, like normal water, that water
Yeah.
becomes red water.
Okay.
I want to put it in the ocean.
Gonna put it in the ocean.
And I want to talk about, I want to assume that all the water in the world has become this red water. And I
Okay.
want to see if we can, like, survive. Like, what is the first problem? How would we fix that type shit?
You say it boils at freezing temperature. Does it boil with the heat of the 100 degrees Celsius, or does it boil with 100 degrees Fahrenheit?
Celsius, what?
Minus 0 degrees. What the fuck am I
It
speaking? I don't know.
the feeling of temperature is identical. Temperature doesn't change anything.
I see no reason why we would just not like. Does it have the same properties of H2O?
Yes.
Can a human drink it and be fine?
Presumably.
It's just that all the water in his body now boils at 0 and freezes, becomes solid at 100 degrees Celsius and starts to vaporize at around 0 Celsius. So, yeah. Are you
What's it?
sure there is no like adverse effect to human body?
Experiments on D class personnel have illustrated the process of conversion by the substance, which has been found to follow a constant pattern. 1. Initial exposure. Subject is exposed to SCP-009 and it has begun assimilating any moisture present on the exposed surface. Creatures in this stage do not commonly notice any unusual symptoms except for slight warming sensation. 2. Surface conversion. Frost begins to form on the exposed area, and the heat produced by the subject and SCP-009 itself raises the temperature above 0 Celsius. This stage can take anywhere from 1 minute to blank hours, during which time subject begins to feel redacted crystals from the epidermis. Hold on, did I
What
get
are you reading?
the experiment logs? Oh, wait, I did wrong.
Okay. All I'm
Uh,
getting is that you get a warm sensation, then you start forming crystals from your skin.
so SCP-009 assumes a liquid phase at temperatures between negative 100 Celsius and 0 Celsius. Red water assumes a liquid phase at temperatures between negative 100 C and 0 C, a solid state above those temperatures.
So
So
solid at
it
0.
does
Solid at 0 Celsius.
take
No,
water.
literally just mirror it on its axis.
Yes. And then minus 100.
So it boils at minus 100 and solidifies at 0 Celsius.
Yes. So at
We
at
finally got
so
it.
yeah, so it still freezes at freezing point. It just also boils 100 degrees lower than that. So it's just opposite water.
Yeah.
I knew it flipped, but
So
I
we could turn
didn't.
into crystals. Nice.
We would freeze, yeah, essentially.
That's cool. Everything would die.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if it got out into the atmosphere as a gas, It would just freeze. Everything would freeze because
That's cool water.
except so would the oceans turn solid? Let's start there. How cold, or would there be a cold enough place in the ocean to stay warm?
Okay, so is there any water that is solid in the ocean? If
The
no, then that
glaciers?
means yes,
Glaciers.
that's the only part that would probably stay water
What do you mean
because there
stay
is
water?
because there is no water that is below freezing temperatures because if there was, it would start forming into crystals,
Yeah.
meaning the water would solidify. It would become a huge slab of red. You will probably never get it to boil and release steam. Meaning, if it does touch a body of water, it could still be contained. Privy, it is not an ocean.
Yeah, but I want to put it in the ocean.
At school, you'll kill everybody, but sure.
Will I?
Yes.
How?
Literally, the whole ocean, literally half the planet's, actually, no, more than half the planet's ecosystem is going to die. We
So
will
does that?
die of loss of oxygen in the long run, by the way.
Oh, yeah, because plants exist.
Yes, most of the oxygen on planet Earth comes from the oceans.
I just want to say, I think not like
Drinkable water is fine. It's just that food from the ocean, half the ecosystem, more than half the ecosystem, the oxygen issue, you'd kill everybody.
I think this would be a really cool like visual, like if someone made a game of this, like
It,
everything with like frozen red crystals poking out. Like obviously the death would be, a problem, but other than that, it'd be
you'd
really
need to
cool to
have
look at.
a species of animals that can survive in such harsh conditions.
I'm sure there's one. What about all those? Well, the ocean would freeze.
hmm
You're telling me that nothing would survive?
Nothing in the ocean would survive freezing because it would be frozen for around, let's say, 10 months with let's say around maybe 2 months if we're lucky with global warming. It's going to unfreeze for a few days, but it will never get to the bottom of the ocean where most of the animals that would have survived are usually hibernating. So no, you would never see an ocean animal ever again unless it was like very much above, close to the surface, and you went sightseeing and it froze there.
Okay, but is that accurate? Like, so obviously the whole ocean's not frozen where it's below freezing.
Okay, well, they're gonna breathe.
Okay, I'm not worried about the breathing. My point is, will the ocean what keeps the ocean that is currently like where there are glaciers, so like let's say North Pole, that
North Pole,
place
South Pole. Yes.
that place is below freezing and it
Yes,
has
and
glaciers.
a lot of animals cannot survive it's in such low temperatures.
Okay, I don't care about the animals. I'm saying the ocean itself does not freeze solid in those already, like, in
Okay,
our
yes.
world. So what is stopping that from happening?
The fact that the poles are being shined on by the sun. That's what's stopping it from unfreezing basically. Or from freezing in this condition where we try to turn the ocean solid with red water, which looks more like a red chunk of something. Ice maybe.
Yeah. Um
Because you have the North Poles because it's colder there, since the temperature there doesn't reach as high as on the equator because the rotation of the planet and the sun shining on different parts. Then you know the principle. It's fine.
yeah, but water
That's
doesn't
like the only
just
two places.
water doesn't just freeze, right?
Red water does.
No, okay. Okay. Screw the red water conversation. Let's say we just pushed the Earth into space. Sun gone. It's cold.
Everything cold, frozen.
How close? How fast would it freeze?
8 minutes.
No, 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 it wouldn't.
I don't know
No,
how
it would
fast.
not.
Okay, the moment the
That's the speed of light.
okay, yes, the moment that's not the speed of light.
8 minutes from Earth to Sun is the speed
Yes,
of light.
yes, that is true. Um, as the first thing that would start to freeze is the surface when the temperature would hit 0 Celsius.
Okay, this doesn't answer my
And then it would
question.
spread down and down and down. I don't know how fast. How fast?
There you go. Now you're on topic.
You want the fast, okay, but you understand that if you throw the chunk into the water, it will be above 0 Celsius,
Okay, but that
and it will start spreading.
it won't turn solid immediately.
Not immediately, but it will start spreading and fast.
Yeah, but how fast? Like, is this like after a day, or will we have like a month to try to save things?
Day. That we're talking about day.
The oceans will freeze in a day.
Water freezes at 0 Celsius. The time it takes to freeze completely in a freezer varies from 30 minutes to several hours, depending on heavy water purity. Oh, it's water purity dependent too. I would give it a day, and then we'd have like half the world red, most likely.
Oh my god, you're not. I don't care if it's red. I care if it's solid.
Yes, it would be red and solid because it would be above 0 Celsius. How's it cold? It's not point, it's not percent. God damn it.
Okay, it's also salt water. Does that change anything? Probably not.
I'm not sure if the water converts the salt into its compound and just eradicates the salt, or if it just makes itself around us. I don't know. I don't have the specifics. Does the water absorb the salt? Okay, let's say
Does the
it does.
water absorb the salt?
Yeah, the red water.
Because it's the
SCP-9.
opposite? Is that what you're asking that for?
Yes. That, and also
I don't think that is part of it. It's not opposite water, it just has temperature differences. I
the
could have guessed.
surface would freeze. The surface would freeze. Not sure how much of the surface would freeze, but the below parts of the ocean would stay basically liquid, because if we account for the salinity, the part where the soul integrates itself into SCP-9, and the currents below, and the fact that it's much colder down there, it would not freeze, because the current basically prevents it from forming crystallized structures, and the salt also helps with breaking down the structure as well, while also keeping it away from the point where it freezes.
You lost me so much.
It's
What?
okay.
What are you saying?
So, okay, there are two main factors that I believe are true, and it is the fact that the currents underwater, the big water currents underwater that shift tectonic plates sometimes, or that happen
Wait,
because of
hold the
shifting tectonic
fucking
plates. Wait a
phone.
minute. That's the other way around. That happened because of shifting tectonic plates. Yes.
The ocean controls tectonic plates, and the moon controls the ocean. The moon controls tectonic plates.
I haven't slept. Okay, shut up.
Why are we doing a like sci-fi podcast when you haven't slept?
Because it's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Uh,
Anyway, what were you trying to say?
Deep ocean. Oh my god, deep ocean stays liquid. due to the pressure and circulation requiring temperatures far below minus 10 degrees Celsius.
You're learning so much about the ocean today, it seems.
Yes. I didn't really bother learning about water until today, but yes.
That's why I was calling you crazy earlier, because that's not how physics works. It's not just cold thing becomes solid.
Yes, cool. But if it big cold thing, then it do become solid.
Okay, but why? Like, no.
Temperature levels in the ocean. No, because you asked how fast the ocean would freeze if we drop the red water chunk of ice into it. And I said day, and I was wrong because salt and because currents. But it would start spreading.
Yes, it would start spreading.
Okay, so the surface is top 200 meters, which is the warmest waters, and it varies around 30 degrees Celsius and below freezing near poles. So somewhere around that range, depending on where it is on the planet, if it is near the poles or the equator. So, okay, that's cool. Then we have the deep ocean, which is below 1,000 meters, which is around 2.5 Celsius to 2 to 4 Celsius. That would probably not freeze.
Okay, good.
I believe anything in the deep ocean would not freeze due to the saltiness of the water and the currents, which break off the freezing. And anything below that is freezing temperatures, basically.
Freezing or red water freezing?
No, like freezing temperatures, meaning the red water will stay liquid. And it will create like this tunnel from the poles, one to each other, underneath a big red bridge around the world. If you know what I mean.
You're saying the top would freeze.
Yes, the top would freeze, and the below parts that are usually freezing would make SCP-9 liquid.
Okay. Sorry,
Because yes, yes.
wrapping my brain around the things that we're learning and then being like but opposite is driving me crazy.
So the only common thing is that the warmer it gets, the more solid SCP-9 becomes, and the colder it gets, the more solid water becomes. But there is like this intersection with salty water where it doesn't start freezing at 0 degrees Celsius because of the saltiness of the water and because of the currents in the water. Because,
It freezes at -2 also.
yes, also, and it also cannot crystallize, and that's a problem because because of the currents in the water. Meaning, if everything keeps moving, it cannot form a proper crystal like structure and will not freeze.
Okay.
That's
So
what I'm getting.
due to the current and the salt water, the water will not stay still long enough to allow physics to take hold and freeze.
Yes, that's what I'm getting. I might be completely wrong.
No, that makes perfect sense because otherwise we would already have a frozen ocean in the
Yeah.
northern poles, etc. Because it is way below freezing just naturally. And we obviously have instances of that already because we have icebergs.
Yeah.
So, although that is true, we still have exceptions, such as icebergs.
And icebergs aren't saltwater.
Correct. Because why? Do we know
Why the
why?
fuck would it be, Will?
Why would it not?
There-
It's in the ocean. Where did that water come from?
Well, isn't it because of the ice age? The previous ice age?
Where did all this fucking salt come from? Where did that come from? Like if the ice age was purely like fresh water. Where
No,
did all
oceans were always
this?
salty. Oceans were
Okay,
always salty.
then why are you bringing up the Ice Age?
Uh, because I believe I don't know why. Because that's like the only point in time that our planet was actually frozen, like all around.
Uh-huh.
It's why I'm bringing it up. I'm like, that's probably the only time it could have frozen, and I'm not sure why it is freshwater, but it is. Why? Wait, our poles freshwater. The vast majority of water at the poles is freshwater, formed from compacted snow, but the North Pole itself sits on salty Arctic Ocean water that freezes into sea ice. So I believe that it's
Okay.
because okay,
No, you were on the right track.
that the snow accumulated. The snow
Yeah.
accumulated and then it basically compacted into icebergs.
And then it drifted away from the mainland where it formed.
Most likely, or just it formed everywhere where it was just cold enough, and then once it stopped being ice age, it unfroze everywhere except the poles. So,
Okay.
that's what I'm getting. Okay. That's how they were formed. We learned so much today.
I know. Don't you love it when
It's amazing.
no one knows what the fuck we're talking about? Not even us. It's like we're listening to a podcast as we're making it.
No, this is funny. I find it funny.
I
I'm not
don't.
sure if anybody ever finds it funny, but it's
I
funny.
like learning things,
Yeah. We
and
learned so much about water right now.
and you learn things about density off camera. You didn't understood
Andy,
how atoms worked.
shut up. Shut up, you Mr. Saturn.
Oh yeah, because not knowing a famous piece of artwork is this is. Look, we're both idiots. How about we just agree that we're both dumb?
I agree every single time that humanity is dumb.
Now that we've established properties of water, we are going to drop a chunk of SCP-9,
Oh,
aka red water, into the ocean.
it's gonna form a ring.
Let's say that at the speed of light, the water turns red. So almost instantaneously, water become red, and they gain that property.
Mm-hmm.
What changes?
We're gonna have a red ring
What do you mean a red
and red
ring?
water.
You're talking about at the equator
Yes.
because of the heat?
Because the red water, and as you say, SCP-9 will solidify
Yes.
and will create a big ass bridge among all the continents.
So, yeah. So at the poles, those glaciers would melt almost pretty quickly.
And yeah, pretty quickly. I'm not sure how well water reacts with ice, but it would melt. And if you
Yeah.
say instantaneously via, speed of light,
Oh.
it would melt instantaneously.
No, I'm just the water turn red instantaneously. Like it's
Well,
like
yes, that encompasses the icebergs.
yeah,
It's
the
also water, but
icebergs would turn
ice.
red, but they wouldn't immediately turn liquid.
Well, they would because the iceberg formed from being below 0 Celsius.
Yeah, and it would still take time
From
for it
which
to
point?
melt.
Okay, but it would not take very long, I imagine, since it's basically warm
Well,
already.
sure, but it wouldn't be instantaneous. It's a lot of ice. Probably.
Okay,
Okay, let's say we're basically throwing an ice cube into an
I'm
oven.
not sure about that. I'm not sure about that, but it would melt over a period of time. It would probably, as you say, not be instantaneous, since nothing is.
Correct. So
Except speed of light.
the point is from the water's perspective, equator becomes the new poles, the poles become the new equator. So we're gonna get. What do you mean no?
No, the poles and equator stay the same. The only thing that changes is the property of the water.
That's what I just said. From the water's perspective.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that.
Okay. From the water's perspective, the equator becomes the new poles, and the poles become the new equator. That means we're gonna start seeing icebergs form around the like tropical areas of the world around the that warm equator, and we're gonna start seeing icebergs melt.
Yes, but you only threw it into the ocean, right?
Yes, so
Good.
fresh water would technically be fine,
Yes.
but
Do you know how good that is? That is like the only thing that is keeping us alive right now, even though we will probably die because of
I mean,
oxygen deprivation, but
why?
because everything that is alive and creates oxygen is within the 200 meters of ocean that will become solid. 90%.
Didn't we just establish that it won't become solid?
It will, because that's like the most inhabited zone of the ocean. The 900, oh, nine, sorry, the 200 meters.
Oh, you're talking to the at the equator.
Yes, at the equator. It will become solid and everything there will die. And also every single marine mammal will die.
Yeah, because they're warm-blooded.
Yes. And a lot of fish as well.
Does each mammal not have its own like optimal temperature?
Well,
Because humans in Fahrenheit are 98.6. So wouldn't each mammal have like its stable temperature?
let's see.
I'm looking for dolphin.
The relatively stable core body temperature similar to humans around 35 to 38 degrees Celsius. Despite living in cold water thanks to adaptations to their thick blubber and specialized blood flow to regulate heat. Okay, so they do still possess core temperature of around 35 to 38 degrees Celsius.
Yes.
So yes, they would freeze, they would solidify.
Yes, they would.
I am very certain because animals, especially marine animals,
I'm not
I know about those. I just don't know about water.
I'm not fighting the fact that that's the case. I'm trying to learn.
It's okay. I got schooled about water. I'm not about to get schooled about temperature of marine mammals.
Yeah, well, I just didn't know. It's okay.
It's okay.
I just asked a question. I wasn't actuallying you this time.
Actually, it's very funny. So yes, well,
So, all right, we drop it in. The glaciers in the poles start to melt. The ring, we start to see a ring of more solid water forming on the equator. Glaciers start coming up. I suspect it would start to snow as well, but that would take time for. Well, actually, no. It wouldn't really affect the weather because it wouldn't evaporate, would it? Because it would have to be fucking
it
cold.
would have to be. Yes, it would have to be below 100 degrees Celsius to evaporate, which would not happen.
Is there anywhere on Earth?
Tell me, is there?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
No, there is not. It's like space temperature, no?
Coldest place on Earth is East Antarctica, negative 98 Celsius.
Yes, which is not boiling.
That is very close, though.
It is, but it's not. It's just very fucking warm.
Coldest recorded temperature. Because if it would only need 1 second to evaporate. I would assume. I don't know how water.
I'm not sure it works like that.
I'm not either, but
The coldest point on Earth reaching below 100 degrees Celsius are found on the East Antarctic Plateau, specifically around Dome Argus and Dome Fuji, where satellite data shows surface temperature dipping as low as minus 98 Celsius during polar nights, with even colder air temperatures estimated around minus 94 degrees Celsius.
so 94 seems to be the answer.
While, yes, 98 is the water, the ice basically, while 100 minus 100 degrees Celsius hasn't been officially recorded as the lower air temperature. The plateau's conditions regularly approach and surpass minus 100 degrees Celsius on the ice surface.
It has surpassed that?
Yes, on the ice surface, so it most likely would evaporate, although
Well, there wouldn't be
I'm
any
not
more
sure.
ice surface.
Yes, although I'm not sure if that would still count, since it, as you have just said, it would turn liquid.
Yeah.
And assimilate with the other water.
So it's probably fine, but it's cutting it pretty close.
Yes, let's keep it like that.
So
Jesus Christ.
We dropped it in the ocean. Glaciers start to form. We would eventually get to a point where we would start getting the opposite of global warming. The oceans would start receding.
Yes, but only because it would get hotter and hotter.
Yeah. Hotter and hotter. You said that kind of funny. Hotter and hotter.
Hotter and hotter.
You're a wizard, hotter.
Shut up. No, it would assimilate with the other water because its structure allows it to interchange. So it would start freezing I'm gonna call it solidifying from now on, because freezing is not the same as solidifying at this point.
What do you mean?
So it would, because it is not freezing, but it is solidifying.
Freezing is
SCP-9.
Freezing is, by definition.
No, freezing a concept of water, specifically water. No.
The definition of freezing is the process by which a liquid becomes a solid.
Yes.
So
does it have to be below degrees Celsius to be considered freezing, though?
Well, no, because anything can freeze.
Okay. That's a new fact I didn't know. Cool.
Yeah, because there's also a term for when a... What is it? So boiling is the act of a liquid becoming a gas. Freezing is the act of a liquid becoming a solid. Melting is solid to liquid. Condensation is gas to liquid. There's another combination of terms that's gas to solid.
Oh shit! I don't know that.
I think, or it's like a plasma.
Is there anything like plasmify? Yes, exactly. Okay, I have a question. If lava becomes a solid, is it still freezing?
Yes, it is. Sublimation is the transition of a substance directly from a solid to a gas.
Oh, and the other way around?
Deposition, also called desublimation.
Sublimation and deposition. Nice. I'll never remember that, but thanks. I now know that it exists.
Thank you, Mr. from my chemistry class. So anyway, you were trying to make a differentiation that didn't make any sense. What were you saying? You were just classifying the language.
Okay, so I just found something because it seemed iffy, and I'm gonna read it to you. Lava solidifying isn't exactly freezing like water. It's crystallization from a molten silicate mineral soup, forming ingenious rocks, but it shares the concept of changing state from liquid to solid as it cools, often forming solid crust while remaining super hot underneath. Uh-huh.
Say the type of rock again.
What?
Say the type of rock.
Silicate mineral soup?
No, the other one.
Ingenious rock?
Yeah.
It's called that.
Igneous. It's pronounced
Oh.
igneous.
See a bitch.
Genius. It's okay. English isn't your first language, but that's really funny.
I just added a fucking letter.
Ingenious rock.
I just took out the N, actually. I just took out the N from the worm, like ingenious rock.
It's an ingenious rock. Oh, sorry. I just heard that and I started laughing.
Crying.
I lost track of what you were saying. It's not it's not freezing. It's different. Is that what the point of that was?
Well, yes, I wanted to find because it seemed iffy, and it says lava solidifying isn't exactly freezing like water. It's crystallization from a molten silicate mineral soup, forming in igneous rock. Stand correctly, but it shares the concept of changing state from liquid to solid as it cools.
Interesting. So freezing then would classify as a type of transition from liquid to solid. If there are more than one type, which is you just said that there is.
I would have to cross-reference other materials because I just looked at the first thing in its AI and I don't really trust it. So
I don't either, but
it does fall under the category of freezing.
okay.
But it's not exactly the same freezing like water.
Oh, well, yeah, that's kind of obvious because even when you like view liquid, it's not flowing; it's like sludging around.
Yeah, its viscosity is the difference, no?
I don't know.
Between viscosity is or density? I can't remember. No, viscosity.
Viscosity is the flow
The
rate.
flowiness. Yeah, the flowiness.
The flow.
And if it doesn't have the flowiness, it becomes a solid or gas.
What? You're saying that still water becomes a gas?
No, if it does not have the if it I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever. I'm not gonna talk anymore because if I do, I'm going to say something other than I'm also going to regret. But you know what? It's funny. I'll keep it. I'll own up to it. It's an ingenious rock, and it's mine now.
Ingenious rock. Okay. All right. Ocean starts receding. It's gonna look like a tsunami because you know when tsunamis start, you can see the water go back into the ocean, like from shorelines,
Wait, why is it gonna start receding?
because of the tsunami. What, in which scenario? What are you talking about?
I don't know. You said that it was going to start receding, and I do not know why.
Because it's gonna freeze. So the water level will effectively go down because it's more. There's more area of it to be in the frozen zone rather than just the poles, right?
No, because when it freezes, it also expands.
You're right. That's something that's always confused me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but like it does that because it forms actual crystallized structures, so the atoms aren't, as you said, density, so compact onto each other, right?
Yes, water has that unique property. But then why is it like in reality, glaciers melt, the water level rises? How does that make sense?
Because like 11% of the glacier is above water.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know what you want me to say, but like I believe that's true.
I I believe that too. It's just a weird like you're probably
it's a weird concept, yeah.
You're right. It's just
I might be wrong.
It gets more than it loses because of this structural difference versus the above water, below water issue.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Water is really complicated.
Oh, physics is complicated.
No, this is water we're talking about.
Water
This is
is
elementary level water stuff.
no. This is not. This is chemistry and physics.
Okay, if you say so. I still don't get how you went to the water receding, because how I understand it, it would just freeze.
I don't think this anymore, but the thought process was since more glaciers will be forming, that more water would be taken out of the water, which would do the opposite of what we just talked about.
Yes,
But that's not the case because that's not how glaciers form.
true, but also this is SCP-9.
Okay, that doesn't change anything. It still
It
had.
still solidifies
Why?
because it is above 0 degrees Celsius.
But it's still moving. It's not like in the world. Let's say the North Pole. When we covered this earlier, it's even though the temperature's cold enough to freeze it, it's not going to freeze because it's moving too much.
Yes, you mean the currents and the saltiness.
Yes.
Yes.
So in places where where SCP-9 would freeze, let's just say along the equator, because that's the hottest, it shouldn't freeze because it's still part of the ocean moving.
Yes, but that only counts for below 1,000 meters of the ocean. The first 200 would definitely freeze and create a huge, solid, walkable platform in between all the continents. Do you know what I mean?
I understand what you mean, but I don't understand why that would happen.
Because the first 200 meters of the ocean surface are warm enough for SCP-9 to solidify.
But
Below, yes,
wouldn't everything be moving too much for it to have the ability to take that shape?
no, because the temperature surpasses the adversity of the currents and the saltiness of the water.
Okay.
I believe.
I mean, I don't know how anyone in the world would calculate that, but I'll take your word for it because that makes
Me
sense.
neither.
So
I just believe so because it is. Even though how cold is the water on the North Pole? Ocean water is at the poles is extremely cold, hovering just above its freezing point of about -2 degrees Celsius.
oh, so it's not even freezing temperature.
No, that's why it doesn't freeze.
Okay.
Because salt and currents, it only and in the depths it would freeze sometimes, but the currents break it down. So, you know,
So it's not even freezing temperature in the poles.
no, it's not.
Okay. That explains a lot actually on like why global warming's such a problem because that would just melt the ice faster than it could freeze.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not freezing. It's not freezing there.
It's not freezing, but the glaciers themselves would add more water to themselves as it rained in that area because it would just accumulate more water, and since the ice would be cold enough and the surface is colder.
Okay, so the air is cold as fuck, the water is not.
Exactly. So
that's what you learned.
Yes. So the glaciers would grow, but since we're messing with the climate so badly that they're melting faster than they can grow, which increases the water surface level because there's so much more water above the surface.
We're talking about SCP-9, right?
I was talking about normal water.
You're talking about normal water? Oh, yeah. Yes, now it makes sense. Understood.
Okay. Sorry, I should have specified.
I was like, are we still on the SCP-9 would freeze, would not freeze the equator, 200 meters of the ocean surface? Or are we just back to water?
You are correct. So since we are officially above that freezing point along the equator and other places too, quite by most of the planet would be above that mark. Yeah. Almost all of it.
Except the deep ocean.
Except the deep ocean and
And the North Poles, and North and South Pole. It would create like how do I say this, like a tunnel between the poles, and that would be it in the deep ocean, and that's the only water that you would get out of the ocean most likely. And if it's salty, let's say it also inverts the fact that, okay, so if it's salty, does it also
it would be 2
solidify?
Celsius.
Yes. It would be 2 Celsius then.
So any place in the world, ocean like water, any ocean water above 2 Celsius would freeze, and below 2 Celsius would stay liquid.
Yes. I'm looking up when 0 Celsius becomes a thing in the ocean. So maybe even the deep oceans might not be safe.
How cold
Because
do they go?
the temperature is around 2 to 4 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, that would melt or freeze.
Yeah. I'm not sure how the currents work with the freezing of the salt water and whatever, but it's if it's like probably 4 degrees Celsius, it would freeze. So you'd most likely get just 2 big lakes on each pole.
Yeah.
Or 2 big oceans on each pole.
And even then, they might occasionally freeze up and melt back and forth almost.
They will one day become solid as well because global warming. Because you don't have the icebergs that vaporize themselves into the atmosphere to cool it down. Very slowly.
Okay. So basically, putting that in the ocean turns practically the entire planet, the entire planet's oceans into a solid of ice.
Yes. Also, they do not vaporize. I just realized they just cool it down because temperature exists and is transmitted through air as well.
Yes.
Whatever. Sorry.
So
yeah, it's cool.
And that would
also it would never vaporize, and it would also strive towards a freezing point, towards a solidifying point,
because
where the whole
warming.
ocean would become red. Yes.
Okay. So in our simulation.
Oh shit.
What?
Oh shit. Do you know what I just realized? Rivers.
Yeah, they exist.
Yes, where do rivers end up?
The ocean. They would transport backwards, I understand.
That's shitty.
So okay, in our simulation, all of the oceans turn red. They start to freeze and solidify. All that like you just mentioned, the rivers would also start to turn red and solidify as well, leaving only isolated reservoirs and lakes and maybe even some dams if we're fast enough, which there's no way we could be.
Unless the dam is already closed.
Yes, but there wouldn't be that many, even if.
Yes, and you also said speed of light.
I know, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
There would be no reaction time. If any of them were closed, they could be safe. But even then, it might still be risky. But overall, let's say like a couple reservoirs just happen to be closed or whatever.
Well, there are also plenty of lakes in the world.
Yes. But most lakes lead off into a river, which leads off into the ocean.
Most, yes, but not all of them. A lot of lakes are just still standing lakes.
Yeah.
And most of lakes are actually formed by rivers, not leading into a river.
Yeah, you're right.
How do you think the lake became there, you know?
You're right. All right, so after our wonderful experiment, a lot of rivers, the entire ocean would become red water. That would leave only isolated lakes, rivers, reservoirs, still fresh, able to drink.
Yes, and then the next issue would be dying of lack of oxygen. If we can't solve that, then dying of cooking alive because global warming, and then probably dying of dehydration.
Well, hold on, you're getting ahead of yourself. So the first issue As you in the very first issue would be getting enough fresh water out to humanity. A lot of people would dehydrate and die because we would only have rainwater collected and enough to take out of wells and whatever we still have. So a lot of the population would die there, but we would also be at risk of
Carbon monoxide poisoning.
well, there's still trees.
Well, yes, but trees like form 11% of the world's oxygen.
I know. But so the whole ocean freezes, we would struggle to stay hydrated. Eventually, since all of the ocean's flora have effectively died, solidified into whatever, they would very quickly die and no longer produce oxygen. We would run out of oxygen, get carbon monoxide poisoning. Like, no, what? Carbon monoxide? Carbon
I'm not
dioxide.
sure. Dioxide. Okay, cool.
Dioxide.
Wait.
Monoxide is poisonous no matter what.
Yes, cool.
So we would get carbon dioxide poisoning, and then we would end up. I mean, obviously, we would end up dead. But let's assume that some people figured out what was going on and really quickly did the math, figured out they were all going to die. They had enough water to keep themselves alive for that first problem, and eventually, a few bits of humanity made it into bunkers where they could control the oxygen and their own water supply and everything. Eventually, all the water that's still fresh would eventually end up in the ocean through weather, like evaporation and condensation.
Wait, sorry, could you repeat the last sentence?
Eventually, all the water would end up in the ocean that isn't like secured and contained by humanity.
Because of rain.
Yes, because of rain, the weather currents, the weather cycle, all that crap.
Yes.
So eventually, the only fresh water we would eventually end up with is anything like
pockets of water underneath Earth.
Yeah, pockets of water in caves or in human-controlled environments that were quick enough to even do that, which would be few and maybe nowhere.
Yeah.
So most of humanity would die, and even then, the scarcity would be incredible.
Yes, it would. It would be horrible.
So, as I was talking, something that came up would be the water seeping into like the ground, right? Because it's not all. Yes. Would that?
But it wouldn't because it solidifies.
Yeah, that's why I stopped talking. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was correct into shutting up.
Well, it does. It will solidify.
Well, yeah, eventually.
Because the degree Celsius will stay around the 0 degree Celsius mark, and if it's salted water, it needs at least 2 degrees Celsius to freeze.
Yeah, but that's pretty much no problem.
Yeah.
Look, no matter what we say, some of the things gonna be scientifically incorrect, and maybe eventually, if we're big enough, someone will fact check us. But we're just here to entertain.
Yes, the ingenious rock.
Yes, the ingenious rocks.
I can't.
So this would indeed, I think this classifies as an XK class scenario, which is kind of what I wanted to determine.
The humanity at this point would slowly die out.
Yeah, because even if we did have some like civilizations that were able to hold on to enough water to stay alive and whatever, there's no really like eventually people would lose that out of stupidity or something.
If you can evolve into not needing H2O to survive, then be my guest.
Well, no, I mean like humanity.
Okay, so the biggest problem is that it would cycle through the normal process of it vaporizing, forming clouds, and then raining down onto the earth. And you can't stop that. Eventually, all the water will disappear because it will touch the red ocean.
Yeah, but if it's like in a bunker. like watertight,
It's like in a
airtight
bunker.
bunker.
You're still gonna drink it.
Yeah, you're gonna drink it, piss it out, maybe filter it. Like that's how they keep
Yes, but your
astronauts
body
alive.
still needs to. Okay, yeah, but your body still needs the supply because it also burns it. It also basically burns the water so you can live.
Yeah,
So you can
but
poo and pee
the water doesn't
and create
disappear.
blood. And create blood. You also need water for that. It does disappear.
No, it doesn't. That's not how the conservation of matter works.
Yes, okay, but like you need it. You
Yeah.
will eventually not have enough water.
Why?
Okay, so when you eat food, what happens to it?
It goes into your stomach to be
Yes.
digested, and eventually your body takes the nutrients out and
And uses them.
uses the nutrients and gets rid of the waste.
Yes, and it's never going to be the same amount of waste as the amount of food you ate because you will take the nutrients away from the food and use it for yourself, meaning for your skin, for your hair, for your blood, for your intestines, and it's never going to come back because you cannot filter yourself. That's what I'm trying to say is going to happen with water.
You're
You also
not
need water.
your body does indeed take some of it,
Yes.
but
It's not.
eventually that water goes somewhere other than your body.
Yes, and you would need to be in a filtration chamber 24/7 to actually get it all back. And you can't be.
And that's what the bunker would be. It would be a giant chamber keeping water from leaving it, creating a stable, almost like an entire other weather cycle on a much smaller
You know,
scale.
this is a very idyllic scenario that it's probably never going to happen.
What? What do you mean? This
Okay,
is
so
exactly
what if the
happening.
water? What if your sweat drips on the ground?
It's not going to go anywhere. It'll just evaporate into the atmosphere.
Okay,
This is how astronauts live.
but they also do have like a stable, some kind of a stable supply of water, and then filter their own excretions. But
Yes,
they
they
can't filter everything.
do. Astronauts get a stable supply of water, like consistently?
Throughout the advanced recycling system on the International Space Station that turns sweat, breath, condensation, and even urine into pure drinking water, reclaiming up to 98% of it. It's not an infinite water glitch. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
You can't do that. You can't do that. Your body is going to use the 2% of the water that it drinks.
So they need consistent water.
There is like there's definitely like a reservoir of water there
Oh,
that
yeah,
you can
definitely.
drink.
They have like a water tower in space.
Yes, but they do reclaim the 98% of the water that you drink from sweat, breath, urine, whatever, and then probably put it into another container where it's gonna get purified. And I'm not sure if they add it into the other one, but you know, maybe they do. I don't know, but they still have the original supply because you can't infinitely create something over and over again.
Well, it's not creating it, it's just reusing it.
Yes, but you are also using it while reusing it so that you can stay alive.
So where does the 2% go?
Into your fucking body? Are you fucking dumb? You
I
numbskull?
understand that. But
Your blood,
okay, after
your
that,
skin.
after you die, it just leaks out.
After you die, it's in your blood, in your body. It gets converted into your nutrients. You're 70% water, bro. Where the fuck do you think it goes?
Understand that. Okay.
You're gonna become fertilizer. That's where it goes. You also burn it through energy, through creating more blood cells, through shedding skin, through shedding hair, through
Glucose,
growing
energy.
nails.
Wait, that still doesn't make sense. Okay,
Everything that your body creates needs water.
I understand that. You're putting something into a system. We don't just break water.
The human body uses water
It
to
gets turned into
create
energy, and then it. Okay, never
matter.
mind. I get it now.
Okay.
It gets
My own.
the molecules in water get split up and turned into other things that become
Yes, that's
energy.
what I'm trying to say. And you kind of need the water to function, and when the body can function and use that water, it then creates blood vessels, skin, nails, hair, saliva, and many other things that the human needs because it falls off of them. And you can't really recycle it back through normal means of vaporization. You can't really juice your fallen out hair and eyelashes. That's where the 2% goes.
Okay,
So we got it.
how did we get to this?
We went to that because you wanted to figure out how 2% of the water cannot be converted back to water, probably and most likely. That's what I got.
Yep,
Yeah?
I think
Because you thought that there would be like a big bunker with water that could infinitely replenish itself.
and now I have learned that it's not the case.
It's not possible. Your body
'Cause
needs it.
it would the water molecules would turn into glucose in our bodies, and the glucose is energy, and our bodies would use that energy.
That energy would turn into you rebuilding your body like lashes, hair, skin, blood vessels, you know?
Yeah,
The sort repairing.
it's not that water stays. It's just that water doesn't stay water, and I didn't understand why water
Yeah.
doesn't stay water. We would die. We would all die. End of episode. Goodbye.